So now let us look at what are the tools that we can use in order to estimate our activity duration. Here we are talking about estimating activity duration. Where does this activity come from? Actually, activities come from the work packages. Do you remember I mentioned about work packages in our work breakdown structure, right? So from the work breakdown structure, we'll have we have defined our task, right? We have defined our activities, and from that activities, we are going to use it. All right. From our scope, we have activities. From that activities, uh, we are going to make use it in our project time or schedule management. And here in the time or schedule management, we have one process called estimate activity duration. In brief, our activities are actually come from our work packages, which we already define it or where we can easily get from our work breakdown structure. Okay. So how are we going to estimate our activity duration? The first method is called analogous estimating. All right. As the name implies, this type of estimation or estimating is actually based on historical data. What we are going to do is actually we try to get our historical data, okay, and used historical data from similar activities, and then try to make uh, an estimation or a projection of a project of a duration for that for that particular activity. All right, and because this type of duration estimating is based on historical data, based on similar activity, right? And it has some disadvantages. The first one is that it could be less accurate, but the advantages is that it is less costly and it's less time consuming because we are only comparing our current activities with what we have done in the past. All right. We are making use of our past data to project or to estimate our current activity, right? Because they are similar. And then the second type of estimation method is called parametric. This type of estimating method, it is same as the analogous estimating, whereby it is based on some historical data, but it is based on large volume of historical data. All right, and what this parametric estimating do is that it take all the historical data, okay, and then run some statistical analysis to create an estimation model. All right, to create a prediction model. And therefore, this type of estimating, okay, it is more accurate. It's more accurate, but it's more costly and more time consuming in order to run this kind of estimating method. All right, to use this estimating method. And then the third type of estimating is called 3-point estimating. We will use this kind of estimating, okay, when we are lack of historical data. It is something new. This project activity is something new, something that we or our organization has never done before. So in order to make sure that what we are going to estimate under this method is useful, we try to provide 3 data points, and they are optimistic, equals O, and then most likely M, and also pessimistic P. All right. Here we can see that there are there are two ways, okay? Two ways how we can make use of this 3-point estimating, all right? And that two ways are actually based on the distribution that we want to use. For example, if you want to estimate our activity based on triangular distribution, then we are going to estimate our activity expected duration based on this equation, which is expected duration equals to optimistic duration plus most likely duration plus pessimistic duration divided by 3, because we have 3 data points, right? Okay. And then if we want to use if you want to estimate expected activity duration based on beta distribution, which is based on normal distribution, all right, the formula that we are going to use will be slightly different. Okay, whereby the expected duration for the activities is equals to the optimistic duration plus 4 times the most likely duration plus the pessimistic duration. And then because here we are taking 6 data points, right? All right, so we divide by 6. The most likely, most likely will be a more condensed or extremely more likely to happen. So we give this most likely activity duration, okay, to have the highest weight, okay, more weight, okay, and obviously it's based on this type of normal distribution, right? And then the fourth type of estimating is called bottom up. We'll use bottom up, okay, if or when we are lack of historical data. It's same as in the estimating, the 3-point estimating, okay? We will use bottom up, okay, when we are lack of historical data, all right? And how we are going to do this is that we will try to aggregate the estimates of the lower level components of the work breakdown structure. We just add up. For example, we want to estimate this activity on top here, right? How to estimate the duration for this activity on top here? By aggregating its sub-activity, okay? By adding the activities that are below it, okay? So we add up the lower hierarchy of the activities to get the higher level hierarchy activities total duration estimation. All right. And now we are going to look at the tools that we can use in order to develop schedule, in order to develop a schedule model for our project. Here, I would like to introduce you to a powerful tool called Microsoft Project. All right. So what we are going to do here is very simple. First, we enter our task name. Under the column name, task name, we input our work breakdown structure, tasks, or activities inside. This come from, remember, adding task name. All the information under this column, task name, they come from our work breakdown structure. Just enter. And then we are going to add the duration for our task. Do you remember? Just now we have already estimate our activity duration, right? So we enter it here. All right. Of course, when we enter this, we have to enter the start date and the finish date too. All right. And then in order to define the dependency or the sequencing of an activity. All right. We are going to double click all of, we are going to double click all of the activities here. For example, in my example, I simply right click, okay, on this task, or we call it as activity. All right, task or activity can be changed, can be used interchangeably. All right, you right click here, it will pop up, okay, the task information. You will see this window being pop up. In order to define the dependency or the relationship between activities, you click on this tab predecessor and specify the relationship uh, uh, between this task and other tasks. All right. And then in this same software, project management, Microsoft project, there's an icon. All right. On the menu bar, and that icon is name Gantt chart. You click on it, then you will see how the activities or how the tasks in your project are being sequenced, are being linked together. Right? And then you make use of the automation in this software, this Microsoft project. Okay, you make use of its tool. There's a tool called, it's just that you go to the menu bar, click on format, and then you find a checkbox, all right, name project summary task. From there, once you click on it, for all of the data that you have entered, all right, assuming you already enter all your activities that you get from your work breakdown structure, you already enter start date, finish date, you already enter, okay, and you have your duration there, all right, and you already define the dependency between and among the activities, right? Then you check on this, then you will get this project duration automatically calculated for you. Okay, that's simple, right? And then for quiz, all right, you can try to scan each of these QR code. The first QR code is for quiz on scope, and then the second QR code is for quiz on time or schedule project project time or schedule management. All right, hope you will have fun, okay, trying out these quizzes, and all the best for the courses, okay, or for all the section that you have gone through, and hope you enjoy it.